The city of brotherly love is shaking to its foundations because the blueprint for the next era of football is being drawn up right now. We aren't just talking about a few minor tweaks. We are looking at a complete architectural overhaul of the roster and the coaching staff that could define the next decade. From a high-stakes coaching heist to the heartbreaking reality of a veteran star's departure, the news coming out of the facility is relentless. Are we looking at a Super Bowl favorite in the making? Or is the pressure of Philadelphia about to create cracks in the foundation? Before we dive into this deep-set analysis of the roster moves and the coaching carousel, do me a quick favor. Hit that like button, share this with a fellow fan, and subscribe so you never miss a beat of this journey. The headlines are dominated by a massive addition to the sidelines. The news has officially broken that Gerard Johnson, the former Houston quarterbacks coach, is bringing his talents to Philly. This isn't just another name on a headset. This is a higher years in the making. Johnson and Houston mutually parted ways, and he wasted no time heading to the Northeast to work alongside the head coach and the newly minted offensive coordinator, Sean Mannion. Think about the history here. Johnson actually interviewed for the offensive coordinator job back in 2023 when the team eventually promoted from within. He didn't get it then, but he stayed on the radar. He interviewed twice more during this current cycle before the team landed on Mannion. The persistence from the front office tells you everything you need to know. They believe this man is a schematic genius. What makes this even more poetic? Johnson has history with this organization dating back to 2011. He was actually on the training camp roster as a player under the legendary Andy Reid, sharing a room with icons like Michael Vick and Vince Young. Now, he returns as a seasoned coach who has studied under the brightest minds in the game, including Kyle Shanahan and Kevin O'Connell. The goal here is clear. Load the staff with so much talent that other teams eventually try to poach them. That is the hallmark of a winning culture. Look at the trees of Andy Reid, Kyle Shanahan, and Sean McVay. Their assistants get hired as head coaches everywhere because their systems work. By bringing in Johnson to work specifically with the franchise quarterback, the team is building a brain trust designed to unlock an MVP-level performance. But let's address the noise. There were talking heads suggesting that people were turning down jobs in Philly because they didn't want to work with the current quarterback. That is absolute nonsense. This is a player who was an MVP runner-up, a Super Bowl MVP, and has proven he can play at the highest level imaginable. The fact that a rising star like Gerard Johnson specifically wanted this job to coach him should silence every critic from coast to coast. Question of the day. With the addition of Gerard Johnson and Sean Mannion, do you believe our offense will finally become the most explosive unit in the league, or are there too many cooks in the kitchen? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. While the coaching staff gets stronger, the roster is seeing some fresh faces on the defensive side. The team has officially signed defensive end Taquan Graham. Standing at 6'4" and weighing 300 pounds, Graham is a physical specimen who moves with surprising fluidity for a man of his size. At 27 years old, he brings a mix of youth and experience, having spent his career with the Atlanta Falcons before a brief stint on the practice squad here late last year. Vic Fangio is clearly looking for depth and versatility, with players like Nolan Smith and Jalix Hunt being the primary names under contract. Adding a veteran like Graham to the 90-man roster is a low-risk, high-reward move. He has 16 career starts and nearly 90 tackles under his belt. In Fangio's system, a heavy-handed defensive end who can set the edge and push the pocket is worth his weight in gold. However, as some doors open, others appear to be closing. We need to have a serious, emotional conversation about the tight end position. Dallas Goedert has been a pillar of this offense since 2018. He is, by almost every metric, one of the best all-around tight ends in the game. But the rumblings coming out of the scouting combine are getting louder and harder to ignore. It looks increasingly likely that the team will let him test free agency. This is a business decision that hurts. Goedert is coming off a massive year where he led the team with 11 touchdowns. He was the safety blanket, the red zone threat, and the reliable hand when everything else broke down. But he's getting older, he has an injury history, and he's about to become very expensive. Reports suggest he could command over $10 million a year on the open market. Howie Roseman is known for being sentimental with his heart but ruthless with his pen. This draft class is loaded with tight end talent. Why pay $10 million for a veteran with wear and tear when you can draft a cost-controlled asset in the second or third round? We saw players like Kenneth Sadiq light up the combine with a historic 40-yard dash. While he might go in the top 15, there are other names like Eli Stowers or the massive 6 feet 7 inches Sam Roush who could step in and provide a younger, cheaper alternative. It's the end of an era, but it might be the necessary move to keep the salary cap healthy. And then there is the quarterback room. No, not the starter, the backup. The trade buzz surrounding Tanner McKee is reaching a fever pitch. This year's quarterback draft class is considered thin by many experts. With top prospects going back to school, teams like the New York Jets are desperate for affordable talent. Daryl Morey and the Jets front office are reportedly looking for a less expensive signal caller to compete. And McKee's name is right at the top of the list. He's tall, he's developmental, and he's on a very cheap contract. If a team offers a mid-round pick for a guy who was a late-round selection, do you take it? It's a classic sell-high scenario. If McKee is moved, the team will likely look to the draft to find the next project. Names like Drew Aller from Penn State or the athletic freak Talon Green out of Arkansas are already being whispered in the hallways. Green, in particular, had the best combine testing of any quarterback in history. Even if he doesn't work out under center, his athleticism is so high he could potentially transition to wide receiver. The front office loves these traits-based players who have a high ceiling. Finally, let's look at the trenches. The rumors of a reunion with Mekhi Becton seem to be dead in the water. The organization is moving in a different direction, signaling full confidence in Tyler Steen at right guard. Steen is affordable, young, and showed massive flashes of dominance last season. But the secret weapon to watch in 2026 isn't a high-priced free agent. It's Drew Kendall. Drafted out of Boston College, Kendall has the NFL bloodlines and the technical proficiency that the coaching staff raves about. He played center in college, and the internal belief is that he could be the future of that position, allowing Cam Jurgens to slide back to guard where he is naturally a force of nature. Kendall has spent his rookie year developing his strength, and word is he is ready to explode onto the scene. This off-season is about evolution. It's about taking the lessons of the past and applying them to a high-speed, modern NFL system. We are seeing a younger, faster, and more versatile coaching staff take shape. We are seeing a roster transition from the legends of the 2010s to the stars of the late 2020s. It's scary, it's exciting, and it's exactly what this city deserves. Every move, from the signing of a rotational defensive end to the potential departure of a fan-favorite tight end, is a piece of a much larger puzzle. The vision is clear: total dominance. The question is, will these new faces be enough to bring another parade to Broad Street? The clock is ticking, and the draft is just around the corner.